What is love? What is ego? Ego is really misconstrued in terms of what we know about it. Now, a lot of people think ego is like, oh, he's got a lot of ego. He's got taking pictures of himself and stuff like this. But ego goes a little bit deeper in terms of spirituality. And we need to understand that the ego is pretty much an illusion that we're living and playing out in our reality. And we're going to be talking about that and how to transcend the ego, and really take control of your life and change your whole reality. Let's get started. Hey superstar, it's Gavin here from Wake Up Fulfilled. Welcome back to my channel. I'm a subconscious mind specialist. I help people reprogram their subconscious identity, their subconscious personality, so they can create the reality that they want automatically. And we offer a free subconscious mind diagnosis session at neutralityshifting.com. There'll be a link in the description where you can go get that. If you're on Instagram, it'll be up here. Yeah, go get that. Really powerful in identifying what's going on in your subconscious mind so you can break through to the next level. Be sure to leave an affirmation or affirmation below so that you're continually reprogramming your subconscious mind with my videos. And if I say anything in this video that resonates with you, be sure to comment that below so you're engaging with the video, because you retain more information when you actually engage with the video. All right, so ego is literally everything that you've learned up until now, right? And everything that you will learn in the future is that of the ego. And for me, one of my biggest goals for myself is to become more pure. I want to become purer and purer and purer in my thoughts, in my emotions, in my love. I want to just become pure because I know that's the truth. And the way in which I know that's the truth is through some experiences with ayahuasca, and through Dr. Joe Dispenza's meditations, that everything is energy. I know that, like, in the way of like not knowing it logically or intellectually by watching YouTube videos, but actually feeling and experiencing it. And when you get into that space, I've got into that space through just natural doing meditation. I've been in that space through ayahuasca. I've been in that space through doing Dr. Joe Dispenza's work. And there's just a space that you can get to where you, the character you're playing out right now, totally disappears. And it's like, there's just pure love, right? This pure love space. And the only thing that gets in the way of that is the ego. What we have learned from our environment. When you were a baby, you knew that love because you had no conditioning. Everything you know right now about love is mostly conditioning. You've been taught what love is, what love isn't based on like movies and your parents and their parents and society and what you've seen, right? Everyone's love is different. Have you noticed that? Everyone's love in a relationship is different. Everyone has different ideas on what it is. But obviously there's one true core idea of what it is. It's just that everyone, functions and operates different ways in romantic relationships. And so we have all these ideas and philosophies. For example, I don't believe in government. I don't believe in government because I don't believe government love us. I don't believe they love us. Right? And so if I don't believe that you love me, I don't believe that you have good intentions for me. Like truly have good intentions for me. So I don't vote. However, at the same time, I know that's my ego. See how it works? I'm aware that that's my ego that can justify me not voting, justify that governments are not loving or whatever it is, right? Some people say don't shop on Amazon because Amazon they got slave workers and all of this stuff. Okay, and there's people that will hear that and still buy from Amazon or the iPhone or whatever, right? Another one is like some people watch Netflix, some people don't watch Netflix. Some people think, oh, I don't want to watch Netflix, it's not spiritual. And there's other people that say, hey, Netflix is totally fine. Even if I'm spiritual, I can still watch Netflix. Some people say don't watch TV. Television tells lies on your vision because I'm spiritual. Well, that's your ego saying that this is spirituality and this isn't spirituality, right? We're putting ourselves in boxes And that is a function of the ego. So true spirituality is understanding that there's actually no good or bad. It's the meaning that we give things which defines what's good or bad. And that's the ego who was deciding what's good or bad. Because in actuality, if you're in your truth and you're operating from love, when you're operating from pure love, you're just aware of good and bad. You're aware of good or bad. You see something as bad, you're not judging it as bad. You see something as good, you're not judging it as good. You're just aware that the ego thinks that's good and the ego thinks that's bad. But you're just pure love. I'll repeat that again, it's so important. If something's bad, love doesn't judge it as bad, it just sees bad. It sees that the ego thinks it's bad. It sees that the ego thinks that's good. Right? It has nothing to do with it being bad or good. It just views and sees that the ego thinks that's bad and the ego thinks that's good. When you can get to that space, life can be absolutely phenomenal. Because now you are not allowing bad situations to affect you or infect you. You're allowing yourself to be pure love, and then you being in that pure love being, that pure love state, you now get to rewire what we call the ego to align with that pure love. And so that's one of my biggest goals, is to get back to that pure love state. So I want to reconstruct and redesign and unlearn what I know what I've learned and what's been conditioned to come back to truth, to come back to love. If I knew neutrality shifting when I was a baby, oh man, I probably wouldn't be here right now. I'll probably be like some next vibration, floating out of here, something crazy like that. Like, we learn so much from environment that we're so distracted. And again, we're distracted because we have other people's impure intention being pressed upon us that tells us this is pretty, this is ugly. This food is good, this food is bad. Don't do this, do that. Right? Other people's egos who says this is how life is supposed to be lived. This is this. And then we're following everyone else's philosophy on how we should live our lives and what's better and what's bad and what's good and what's not. Even in religion. And so what we need to do is come back to ourselves and come back to source, otherwise known as God, whatever flavor or belief that you have about a higher power or the Most High. When you are working through Most High, you can only come through pure intention. And as you become pure intention, you're giving out good energy. And then you notice some of your own flaws or your weaknesses, but you notice them through, again, awareness, and you're not judging them. And then you get to reconstruct the ego, and you reconstruct the ego to be in alignment with God or a higher power or the Most High. And so when I say I want to raise the vibration of the planet, it's not ego Gavin that says, hey, I'm supposed to raise the vibration of the planet. This is like, I feel like I've been sent here to do this through a higher power, through the Most High, through God. So ego on a surface level is looked at as, that guy over there loves taking pictures of himself and he's full of himself. That is surface level ego. Ego, in terms of spirituality, the depths of ego is understanding that every single thing that you know about our reality is not true. Every single damn thing that you know about our reality is not true. You just choose to believe, or you believe in that way because of what you've been told. And so there are people who rewrite history. There are people who change history. There are people who have manipulated our past, especially in my particular community. And so In doing that, you learn certain knowledge, and then you learn certain knowledge about yourself. And when you learn this certain knowledge about yourself, you assume that's who you are, but it's not who you are. You assume you are your ego. You assume you are your name. You assume you are your job. You assume you are this personality that you are living out right now. You assume these things, but in actuality, if you was brought up in a different country, if you was brought up with a different language, if you was brought up by a different dialect, for example, I live in London, and the reason I speak the way I speak is because I was born in London, right? If I was born in Birmingham, I would have a different accent or different dialect. If I was born in a different part of Thailand, I'll have a certain dialect. I think there's 4 different dialects in Thai. And so, you have to understand, like, so you're from Atlanta and New York. Atlanta and New York, they speak different, right? So even when it goes down to that, we assume, okay, I'm from Atlanta, so I rep Atlanta, right? Or, it's just the silliest things in a way. But again, that's a function of the ego. If you was brought up in the jungle where no books, no internet, no social media, just plants, fruits, animals, right? You have to make stuff from scratch, build your own home, all of this stuff. Your mind is completely different. Completely different. And let's say you were sipping on ayahuasca. Your mind is completely different to someone that's going to be living in New York or whatever it is, right? Imagine you grew up like that. Who would you be right now? And then we even got time. In terms of time, the time that you're born in dictates who you are and how you operate right now. If you was born in the 70s, you would be speaking differently. You'd be acting differently. You would have different behaviors and different thoughts on what life is. Someone who's older than me has different perspectives on what life is compared to someone who's young, who's just been born, who's like maybe 14 years old, has a completely different perspective. People who've grown up on social media, people who haven't grown up on social media, people who had mobile phones, people who didn't have mobile phones to begin with. It's all ego. It's all ego. And so think of the depths of your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, your wife, your mother, your father, like all of these things and how they act. And are you judging them or approaching them from ego? Or are you approaching them from pure love? Right? We want people to be different, so it reflects our own expectations and it reflects how we want people to be. But the truth is, that's just ego bashing. Your ego wants them to be that way. Your ego wants them to be more like this and more like that. And that's where we have to learn to become more pure and accepting and love. Whilst we can communicate our challenges and our problems with people and we can work through things, a lot of us it's just about going inwards and realizing, wow, like, I want to change someone because I want someone to be this way, because not that the eyes and I see, when I say I like third eye, like spiritual, like love, like pure awareness, like the God part of you. That part doesn't want to change anyone. It just is. It's just pure love. But you realize when I, as an ego wants to change this person, you're just like, whoa, this is just a bunch of egos, bunch of brains going blah, 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 right? It's just a bunch of stuffuses that doesn't really align with God or the Most High. If you look at religious text, a lot of this, what I'm discussing right now, is I feel like it's being called what the actual message is to become more pure. Simple as, to become more pure. The first step to becoming more pure is being aware that you are not your conditioning. I don't believe in prisons. I don't believe in prisons because it's just that person's environment that created conditions on that person's mind, and those conditions create certain behaviors and habits and attitudes and beliefs and ideas and philosophies about life. And so now that person's a criminal, labeled and judged as a criminal. The judge says this is a criminal. The law says this person's a criminal or a bad person or whatever it is, based on something that they couldn't help. And obviously people know what good and bad is. I'm not saying that people don't know what good or bad is. But how can one ego judge another ego? You're not God. So you shouldn't be judging people and condemning them, and that's God's job, or the most highest job. And I believe that's one of the 7 thingies. Thou shalt not judge, right? Shouldn't be judging. Why are we judging? And so I'm not saying that I don't judge. I judge all the time. I'm not, some, whatever. So someone, gets to the point of like robbing someone's house and they need money or whatever it is. That's the environment. That's what they've learned. That's what they've been pressured into. Life and the environment has been constructed, this mind's mind, to have those particular behaviors and think that's the right way. There's no other solutions or whatever it is. And so at the end of the day, people will always go back to survival mode, where their reptilian brain will take over and think in survival. How can I get money? How can I get food? Right? People will always go back to that. Some people will, be on the street and, be fine. They will not be fine, but like they'll be living on the street and they'll like, try and make it through or whatever it is, right? And there's others that will rob and steal and, do whatever it takes to make sure that they get food and, whatever. Right? So again, that's based on how each of those individuals were brought up and what they were around and their environment and their parents and all of this stuff, and how they took that and how they perceived that. Everyone perceives things differently. But again, this is all the ego. All right. So that's the depths of the ego. The ego is very simple in a way. It's literally just your brain. It's just your memory. It's just what you've learned, your perspectives, your views, your opinions, and all of this stuff. And when you can get beyond that, when you can transcend that and realize that you are the awareness of that all, now you're disassociated from ego. Now you're in your power. Now you're in love. I said in love. You want to fall in love with someone, right? People want relationships. People want to fall in love. But you can fall in love. Fall into love, into awareness, and see what's going on out there. Right? From pure love. And as you walk around in pure love, it's just like, ooh. You wake up fulfilled. You see that? You wake up alive because you are operating from pure love. That is your truth. That is what I believe to be who you truly are, which is just love. Nothing else. And so we can decide to reprogram the ego, the mind, the subconscious mind, in a way where it's in alignment with purity or love. So you're just automatically being that way. You're not trying to be that way. You're not trying to, I mean, you can work around it by just, habits and, creating rituals and working on yourself. The fastest way to get there, quickest way to get there, is by reprogramming your subconscious, and just unlearning and letting go of things, forgiving yourself, forgiving the past, forgiving your history, healing, doing a lot of healing on yourself, a lot of forgiveness. As you begin to heal and you forgive, it's like you're not, you're stepping more into high vibration, and you are seeing people differently in different perspectives and stuff like that, okay? So yeah, that's my opinion on ego. Be sure to comment below another video that you want me to create. If you want me to continue to talk about ego, whatever it is. Um, and we offer a free subconscious mind diagnosis session. If you want to really like, not know what's going on within your subconscious mind, what's holding you back, what's stopping you from getting to that next level in your business and in your life, and you want to have a breakthrough, you can get a free subconscious mind diagnosis session at neutralityshifting.com. There'll be a link in the description where you can go check that out. Okay. And remember to keep learning, keep growing, keep expanding, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace, peace. Much love.